Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to the channel of upright men and women. Now, today I go say something where nobody, 9 out of 10 people not going to want to hear. I'm going to burst a lot of people's bubbles. Because even if you swallow the blue pill, which will keep you in la la land, this piece of red pill where I go now, I go wake you up. Well, it will wake up a few. You guys know that on this channel, it is a teaching channel. When you come on here, you are going to learn something that you are more than likely had never known before. And even if it is something that you had known before, I would have elaborated on it enough for you to gain a further insight into what you already know. And I'm going to begin by saying this. Black people fool as fuck. And before anybody get vexed with me or feel offended, at least stay long enough to know why I say that. And then after you see the reasons I have given, you will know, you can figure out whether it justifies my strong assertion that black people is some of the foolest folk on earth. There, I said it. If you are a little snowflake, then you have nothing to learn here. Move along. The baddest and the bravest will stay if it's even for cuss me at the end of the day. Now, here is why I say that. Black people love name brand. Black people love to floss. Black people like smokes and mirrors and they like trinkets. They are not people who care about substance. They would rather have 50 Gucci bag and Nike shoes and Birkin bag, of course, than for own piece of land. You go to the United States now, for example, and go under every black man bed and see the 40 or 50 pair of shoes where you draw it from under there, where wear 1 or 2 times and fling down never to wear again. And in his closet and so on and so forth. And him have a hot car if him a work. The latest model. Things that wear him down, waste his money, although he don't see that as a waste. But ask him how much stocks and shares he has bought in any company or how many properties he owns. Now, I jumped in at the deep end there, so let me backtrack a little. Yesterday, April 15th, although I think that was April 14th in China, that country, China, dropped a bombshell. They told the entire world that they have been duped out of billions and trillions of dollars over the past 40 years. And believe me, 3/4 of all of that money that was duped, not really by China, because China is only complicit in the wider scheme. But I know China are really do the duping. Black people have been duped out of trillions of dollars that could have made them rich. Now, how is China involved in the duping of black people? Because in all fairness, because of who black people are, they are the only ones with the propensity to be duped in that sort of way. I mean, to any great extent. China told the world, say, listen, all of those top brands that you have been buying are made right here in China. The Birkin, the Fendi, the Yves Saint Laurent, the Gucci, Tommy Hilfiger, every single top brand that you have ever bought in your life, what you say is a knockoff when you get it from China, but you go buy it in Paris, France, for 100 times the price. How you get duped, sir? Here's the reason. Black people have less substance in their thinking and is more into godliness. That's Gaudiness. In case some of you think I said godliness. They love beads and trinkets. things that has no true value, but things which makes them feel good about themselves and make them can show off on them fellow black man. Now, I'm going to expand on this some more, but first, I'm going to show you guys a clip of one woman who realized that she had paid 10,000% more for something where she could have go down the road, go buy it at the dollar store, feel it like nothing. And these are people with the Sean Kingston complex. This woman that I'm about to show you, she want a whole lot of everything, even though one or two could have do. What one woman had do with 4011 handbag, expensive handbag? You know how much land she could have buy with that? If she did just go down the road to the dollar store and buy the same bag, which come out for the same assembly line, and that the only difference between the two bags from the dollar store and from the thrift shop then, and from the high-end store is just a tag. First of all, please take in the eyelash, the eyebrow, the hair, the skin color, and you know that this is an extremely superficial individual who
I am about to crash out. Seriously, I'm crashing out. China, they on our ass. Let me tell you something. Y'all see all these damn bags that I have? Okay? These are the bags they're talking about. Like, I have a Birkin, a Fendi, a Louis. I've never even used this bag yet. A Chanel, Louis, Fendi, Chanel, Gucci, Louis. And you're telling me what I have spent on all these bags, I could have went to China and got them and not spent all this money? China, I'm coming. But let me just show you all the bags that I actually really have. Look at this. Jack Moose, Louis, Hermes, Louis, Dior, 3 Chanels, Fendi, YSL, Chanel, Louis, Chanel, Louis, Gucci, Chanel. All of this stuff that I spent my hard-earned money on, all of this, are you freaking telling me that I overpaid for all of this shit? Let me go on Expedia or whatever and find me an airline ticket to China, because I'm coming to see y'all. Look for me. And I also want to add that this Louis wallet, it legit say made in France. Made in France. I am now checking all my shit. China. I'm coming.
just yesterday she realized that all of those monies that could have probably buy a car or probably buy a piece of land were all spent to put trinkets, expensive trinkets which has no value beyond what the brand manufacturers told her they were worth. Now, first of all, I think like a man, so me now go understand. But honestly, from a man's standpoint, me no see why any woman would need more than 5 handbags. As a man, I can't work it out. Since I can work without even one, me no see why women can't work with even 2 or 3. But me could understand maybe 5 if one are put on for funerals and graduations and so on. But as I said, my brain isn't wired to think beyond that. It just would not compute. Okay, before I even go into the main topic, I want you to look at this other very interesting video. I'll not say anything further about it, but please take a look. This is an eye-opener.
About the US and China, you know, I want to say I'm highly ticked off. I'm highly upset. 3 years ago, I paid $450 for these Gucci slides at the Gucci store right here in Houston, Texas. And now China done exposed the fact that these shoes right here only cost 75 cents to produce. You know what? Real Gucci slides. I'm done.
Stick a quick pin. What the pair of shoes do him? What the little slides do him? Why it do him? Him got take up $450 by a piece of plastic because it named Gucci. Only to hear that at 75 cents US, it costs for bill it. And that the same thing dep on one shelf down at the thrift shop round the corner. Physical and nothing. Who is the fool? Black people loves trinkets. They lack substance. Now, when I say that, don't nobody come say, oh, not me, not me. Because of course nothing is absolute. Because I'm not like that and I'm black, so I wouldn't be talking say everybody. But on the whole, the vast majority are like this. They are the ones who are keeping these Europeans and American businesses afloat and are keeping themselves tied to the plantation because these people hoodwink them and are suck out them money. Anyway, let's continue because trust me, it gets worse with this man.
The hell with these Gucci slides? You know what? Oh, that's over here. China, listen. If y'all watching this, China, I have nothing against y'all. I want to personally say thank you. What they did was wrong.
No, sir. No, sir. What they did was not wrong. You catch a donkey, ride him. Nobody never go in their pocket, go take out your money. Don't talk about what they did was wrong. The man say him have 15 pairs, about 15 pairs at the 75 cent slippers. Now 15 times $450 US is how much? By my calculations, that is $6,750. And this is just for him slides. So think of all his dressing shoes and his clothes and everything. Because if him can pay that for slides, talking say this man have a lot of money and spend it on trinkets.
75 cents for Gucci slides. I got about 15 pair of these things in my damn closet. What the hell's going on, man? 75 cents. How much were these to produce? How much were these, huh? Were these another one of those famous slides that Valentino that only cost 10 or 12 cents? Listen, I'm buying direct now from the manufacturer. I'm finna start buying manufacturer straight directly. So basically these are fake. These are basically fake. That's what y'all tell. I'm upset, man. So I've been walking around with fake Gucci slides on the whole time. You mean to tell me I could have just walked into a knockoff store and bought these same Gucci slides for $10 or $12? Nobody would have knew that they was fake. Like, people say it's the quality, but nobody's gonna walk up and say, hey, let me feel the quality of your Gucci slides. Hey, let me feel the quality of your Ameri to see if it's real. I'm upset, man. China, thank you for exposing these people. This is how I feel about these Gucci slides. Thank you again, China. We, as Americans, appreciate you guys exposing the truth. Thank you.
I've listened this far. There is something I need to let you guys know about me and to see that I speak with some authority. In 1991, I graduated from Strathclyde University in Scotland with a degree in marketing. So I am into marketing. It's a double bachelor's, but let us just deal with the marketing aspect. I understand marketing. And in all honesty, if I had never even gone and studied this topic, me don't figure this out from me a picnic, say that a name tag doesn't change the value of anything. The true value of something does not rest in the tag or the name we print on it. It rests in the quality and the durability and the actual cost that it was bought for. Those are where it lies, not in one name tag. But point to note, who am upset with? Who am upset with? This is just a superficial man. Them little dolly girl, you can see them, this man is not a deep man. Them little dolly girl can just dress up in a them little false and come with them plastic smile. And plastic here and plastic eyelash. And maybe him get a little plastic pum pum she give him and him don't even know the difference. That's the type of black people we have on this earth. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys something. Every single brand name on earth who sells anything at any exorbitant price, every one of these items were made in China. When they come off the assembly line, they simply stamp a brand on some and make the price up 400%, 1000%, and send it to people in Paris who buy it. But here's the thing. Even though it's made in China, it's going to tell us made in Paris, made in Portugal, made in some other top country on earth. And China played the game. China only want to know that it's getting its money and it make them at very little cost. Sell it to these Europeans and Americans. And then they in turn sell it to black people. Don't get me wrong, they sell it to one or two white somebody, but that is of no significance. Sell it to poor black people who don't own piece of land or own anything valuable. And every cent them work, them take it, go buy a name tag. When them could have just run down to the thrift shop on the corner to Woolworths and buy the same thing that come off the same assembly line for how much hundreds of percent less. But black people are shallow for the most part. Shallow. Now, people always have it to say, anything we mark made in China, no good. So China just make the thing good and say, made in Paris, made in London, made in Berlin, when everything in the world that's worth having today is made in China. And as a matter of fact, China is the factory of the entire planet Earth. Basically, not make nowhere else really, no matter where you see stamp on it. And I'm going to give you guys an example. In my business, I sell HP toners. And there are some toners which can go for 18 to 22,000 for one cartridge. Depends on the model. Say, well, you have a cartridge costs 18,000. I can give you the identical cartridge, genuine cartridge, for maybe 8 or 9,000. So, in some cases, you can save more than 50% on a cartridge from me. Now, if I'm selling a genuine cartridge, HP cartridge for that, and HP is selling the same cartridge for that price, how is it possible? I'm going to tell you. The one that I sell is unbranded. The two same cartridge come off the same assembly line together, and them stamp HP on one, and them don't stamp HP on the other. The one that they stamp HP on, they double or triple or quadruple the price. And the one without the HP stamp, even though it's just as it is genuine, come off the same identical assembly line. It sells for much less because people go for brand. Black people more than ever. But this is something I've always known from a child. Me never go for brand. As I said, I go for durability and cost. And of course, quality. But we as a race, we love trinkets. We love superficiality. Just want a tag and say we are brand. Now, I'm going to share a little anecdote with you. And I would love you to stay and listen to this. Because this is very, very important now. You see, in Jamaica, people don't think for themselves. Black people on the whole don't think for themselves. Once you grow up with seeing your family, your parents, with a certain activity, you just take up that activity and do it the same way. One of these is buying food products. and buying the same brand that your parents used to buy. One of these brands that Jamaicans are loyal to is Grace. And I can tell you that Grace products are some of the most substandard products on earth. And this is a fact. And let me give you an example of how brainless black people is. I went into my cupboard prior to voicing this video, and I took a picture of these 2 packs of coconut powder. Now, each of these coconut powder cost me 50 Jamaican dollars, and I bought these downtown. A few weeks ago, I was passing a stall while doing some shopping near Curry, and this lady passed a stall, or rather stopped at a stall and asked how much for the coconut powder. They said the coconut powders are $50 each. And she bypassed these 2 ones that I'm showing you now, and she reached over and she took up the Grace. So when she took up the Grace, which were actually in a separate box put away from the other $50 ones, the lady said, no, that is Grace and that is $100 each. The lady said, well, it's 2 I want. She said, no, I don't want the other one. I want the Grace. Okay, me will just buy one. And she took 1 Grace coconut powder instead of for $100 when she could have get 2 of the others for a total of $100. Now, let us face it, all coconut powder come from either Thailand or Indonesia or somewhere in the Far East. Every single marketing person go over to Indonesia or Thailand or wherever and buy the coconut powder in bulk, put it in their own bag with their brand and sell it on. Now this person is so loyal to brand and so retarded, she would have want to believe that 1 coconut powder is better than the other. And they are all the same amount of grams. This is a typical behavior of superficial people. Now, I have nothing against Grace as a marketing company, you know. There's something else I have to say. Grace have the weakest ketchup in Jamaica. If you turn the bottle sideways, everything run out. You don't even have to turn it upside down. And the wateriest browning in the world is Grace browning. Make sure you stand up over your sink and take your time pour it, because if you ever go over your pot with that, everything just run out in your food and it can't eat the way it black. Especially if you use to a thick one like Eve or any other brand. So Grace have some of the most substandard products, but because they are selling their products to people who are just go by blind brand loyalty, just like how them go by blind loyalty to the politics, to their political party. No thinking, no rationality to them thing. This is what me see my parents do, and this is what me I go do. Grace, bully beef are the most potter sitting you could have ever eat. Sorry Grace, but me just have to say it. And there's people who will never buy any other ketchup nor any other bully beef, even though Grace products are a lot more expensive. Now, here is one thing I'm going to say now, which probably nobody, maybe it's only half a dozen people in the world know this. There is a company in Jamaica called Island Spice. And Island Spice makes some of the best seasonings on earth. And I would recommend them. Now, here is the thing. Grace sells the same type of seasoning that Island Spice does. However, Grace does not make any seasoning. As a matter of fact, Grace don't make nothing at all. Them just buy people sitting, wrap them brand on it, and sell it back. Because what they're selling is just the brand. And they buy the cheapest things they can get. Because the cheaper them can buy the thing, is the bigger the profit they can make. And because it's more expensive than all the other brands, people think it is better. So them is just like how you'd go buy Fendi and Gucci and them other something there in a apparel. Grace do that. Grace Kennedy does that with food because them not make nothing. But back to Island Spice. Who makes seasonings, powdered seasoning for Grace? It is Island Spice. But here's the kicker. Island Spice does not make the seasoning for Grace up to the standard and quality that it makes for itself. And here is why. Grace pay Island Spice dirt cheap to make their seasonings for them. So because of that, Island Spice, in order to continue to make a living and make it work at the price that Grace is paying them for the seasoning, they have to cut certain things, some of the most important spices in their seasoning. So when you see a bottle of Island Spice seasoning on the shelf and you see a bottle of Grace of the same type, say jerk seasoning for example, Grace is going to be at least 10 to 20% more expensive, but it will be 10 to 20% of less quality. As me say, I don't come here to pretty up people. As uno know me, I don't come here to put my mouth a grung and talk. If you can't handle truth, believe me, this is not the channel for you. I have a lot more to say, but stand by. More bombshells to drop in a short while. Thanks for watching. Like, share, leave a comment below, and I look forward to see you in my next video.